Tip-top of the evening, everybody, from the CDS Office Technology Studio. This is Muddy Night Lights, powered by Farm and Home Supply. I am Muddy River Sports Director Chris Dewar, and as you can see to my right, or to my left usually, I'm flying solo tonight. No Matt Shuckman. My guy, my tag team partner, is out in the field tonight, but with good reason. No, he's not out chasing Cyber Monday deals, although I wouldn't put it past Shuck. He likes himself a good bargain. He's out covering a doubleheader tonight for Quincy University men's and women's basketball against Upper Iowa. And at last check in the fourth quarter, the Quincy University women's team was getting beaten by the Peacocks, I think by a spread of 12 points at last check. So obviously Shuck will have a complete wrap-up of both of those games, hopefully a victorious wrap coming in the next couple of hours here for you as well. But we're going to talk some basketball tonight. We're going to talk some football tonight. I'm joined by my guy, Remington Yates, our fearless producer over there on the mic. You can't see him, but I didn't want to be lonely tonight. Say hi to the people, Remy.
Hello, everybody.
See, Remington Yates right there. So we'll discuss with him. We'll discuss with you. And the good news is, despite the fact that we don't have Shuck here for his wit and witticism, we do have great guests tonight. 5 of them in all. We're going to start off at 7:15 tonight with Quincy Notre Dame Raiders boys basketball coach Greg Altmix. Obviously, his team coming off that phenomenal win on the road at Moline last week, off to a great start. A team that I think holds a ton of promise for the rest of this winter. So going to be fun to break it down with Greg at 7:15. Then at 7:30, speaking of hot starts, the Brown County Lady Hornets have been very impressive out of the gate. Not a surprise. They did not get to complete the Lady Hornet Classic this past weekend due to the snows, but they have got a big showdown at some point looming with West Hancock, who is similarly undefeated and very impressive as well. We'll talk to Dave about his team, the talent that they have, the way they piece together very nicely moving forward. And I think the neatness for that team is about the expectation level and how, to this point, they've dealt with it very well. We're going to talk some more girls basketball at 7:45 with the head coach of the Monroe City Panthers. That is Adam Rung. We'll also talk a little football with Adam. He's on that staff that watched their phenomenal season come to a heartbreaking end in the last 10 seconds on the road at Crystal City. I know it says Festus in their name, but for some reason, St. Pius X of Festus plays in Crystal City. I don't understand it, but apparently that's the line of demarcation that they serve geographically. So we'll talk a little bit about that football season. We'll talk about his very promising girls basketball team. In the 8 o'clock hour, Brian Ray is going to join us from Palmyra boys basketball. The Panthers off to a 2-0 start. And if the weather holds out tomorrow, and that's pretty dicey and pretty iffy at this point, they're going to christen the brand new, wholly redesigned and wonderful looking new gym at Palmyra, hopefully for their case with a win against Mark Twain, although I think the Tigers have some firepower as well they'd like to bring to the table. So that's a really interesting matchup. Otherwise, Palmyra brings back a lot of talent. Obviously, Brian Ray, not just, well, he's best known for what he's done in basketball, but I'll remind you all, he also won a state championship as a coach of another sport this past spring, and I want to talk to him a little bit about that as well, because spring sports from time to time seem to get short shrift, and I think Brian just loves to coach. It's one of the great things that he does. I'm also going to go out of my way to avoid talking college football with Brian this week. For those of you who don't know, he is probably the most ardent Michigan Wolverine fan I know, and it's probably not a good week to bring up college football. So I'm going to completely avoid that with Brian moving forward in that conversation. And we'll wrap it up in the interview side of things at 8:15 with a man and his team who are celebrating a turkey tournament win at Pittsfield. Dan Sparrow from Liberty. His team had a really disjointed summer, and man, has Dan and his Eagles pulled it together over the course of the first couple of weeks of this season, or the first week of the season, I should say. Really an impressive performance down there, making a great stand in their wins in Pittsfield. So a lot to like about that team going forward. We'll have all of the other fun and frivolity moving past 8:30. Going to talk a lot of high school football. Going to talk a lot about the Hannibal Pirates, who, man, what a great game on Sunday. The Pirates actually just laid the smack down on a very celebrated St. Mary's of Southside team, which came in with a 2,000-yard back in Kingston Miles. They held that young man to 51 yards rushing on 17 carries. I have told you from the beginning of the season that I thought Hannibal had a chance to be a generational defense, a defense within the rich history of Hannibal Pirate football that they'll be talking about for years and years to come. And as you will see in a story that's coming up tomorrow on the Muddy River Sports website, Had a chance to sit down with Jamie Hoskins, the defensive coordinator. He holds a very high standard, and as well he should with the talent on that defense. And he has said repeatedly from the beginning of the season, that defense, as good as it has been, has not strung together 4 perfect quarters of football. They came as close as they probably could on Sunday. Hard to say that, down in Herman. By the way, yes, that game got moved 3 different times last week due to, first of all, logistics with the field at St. Mary's. Didn't have enough seating to accommodate Hannibal. St. Mary's people weren't happy about that. Then St. Mary's and Hannibal agreed to play that game at Missouri Baptist. And apparently nobody had any stewardship over that field because it iced over in the snowstorm. Nobody was paying any attention. And at 9:30 with Hannibal fans and Hannibal media, namely me, already on the road to Chesterfield, we all got the call that that field was unplayable. Didn't know what was going to happen on Sunday at that point. All of a sudden, Herman comes out of nowhere. Great administration down there, phenomenal field, great people to work with, hands clapped for the Herman folks because they really went above and beyond to make that football game happen on a Sunday afternoon when all of those folks could have better spent time with their families. But we had a football game, and it was played extremely well by Hannibal. So we've got a story coming up about how well that defense has played for the Hannibal Pirates tomorrow. Lots of Hannibal stories on the site the next couple of days leading up to the big showdown that we had our fingers crossed for all offseason long. I mean, in Class 4, this was the dream game. Hannibal versus number 1 Kearney. That game will take place in St. Joseph coming up on Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Yours truly will be there to bring you coverage of what we hope will be a Hannibal State Championship. Obviously, the Pirates playing very well, but I got to tell you, Kearney is a different level. And that's kind of been the weird, unfortunate part of our football season. And I want to be reflective of that before we get into the basketball and all of our guests tonight, because when I first moved here in 1995, the first real great story that I covered was the Carthage Blue Boys 30 years ago, marching to Jim Unruh's first state championship. And then subsequently, La Harpe Northwestern went to a state title game. And then we had the Carthage Dynasty run from 98 through 2000. And at that point, you get spoiled in this business. You start to think this is going to be your reality every year. And we had some great years subsequently, but you learn pretty quickly to appreciate the moment you're in. What a great football season we are about to wrap up here in the Tri-States. Not just with Hannibal as the last team standing, but what a week it was to celebrate. And I know there were losses, and in Brown County's case, a pretty lopsided loss in the state championship game to Lena Winslow. But what amazing seasons, what amazing runs they gave us, what tremendous kids, and what a great show of community pride from all the communities involved, whether it was, Mount Sterling, whether it was Titletown, Monroe City, and now Hannibal at the end. This is what makes high school sports fun. The chance to sit and to celebrate all that's great about our communities and our kids and them striving to be better versions of themselves. And we saw that on 3 different fronts. Now, I'll start with Brown County because we've talked for years about how, that is the simmering volcano, the Mount Etna of fan bases, because when things are good at Brown County, man, that community goes nuts. But we never saw it in football get to this level of good with a first ever state championship game appearance. And yes, again, Lena Winslow is the deal. There's no 2 ways about it. I also think, though, if we go back, there's a historic paradigm for this. In 2022, Camp Point Central got a mud hole stomped in them by Lena Winslow. And a year later, Brad Dixon figured it out. And I think kind of if you draw parallels from NBA basketball, which I do often, this is kind of like the Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls having to get past the Pistons. I think you need to be punched in the mouth. You need to suffer a little bit to figure out the speed and the tenacity and the scheme with which Lena Winslow plays. And Central did a year later. And now it's incumbent upon Tom Little and his incredible staff to get that done. But I mean, I take no disappointment. I mean, obviously you take some disappointment because you wanted to win a state championship and it wasn't the fairy tale ending. But there's nothing disappointing in what the Hornets did this year. period. It was a great show. It was a show of resilience to really tough losses that kind of repositioned them and made them the better versions of themselves. And maybe moving forward with so much talent for Tom Little and his crew coming back the next couple of years, there's a lot of really good players there. I, for one, am thrilled to see what the Michael Cassing era looks like at quarterback. You saw him a little bit at defensive back and wide receiver. That kid is an unbelievable talent, as you will discover during the basketball season as well. There's a chance for that Brown County team to be something special. Monroe City, obviously, a little different narrative in the state semifinals. That was a game, and I was there in Crystal City on Friday. That was a game where it felt like whoever had the ball last would win, and in this case, you know, you give St. Pius X the credit for making a play with 5 seconds left. It was a really interesting and well-designed play, and hats off to those folks because they found a way to beat Monroe City at the buzzer, essentially, with what was a weird rollout, designed quarterback rollout that looked like a scramble that they turned into a jump pass, and it worked, and at that point, you just tip your cap. But it was one of the best high school football games I've ever watched. Two teams that were incredible. Walking away, watching Quincy Mayfield get beaten alive almost with the physicality he took, and yet 264 yards of rushing. You know, twice I thought he was leaving the game with an ankle injury. Both times he came back. You know, the weird thing, and somebody said this much better than I did at that game, is that, you know, Quincy Mayfield, you can hit him as hard as you want. It's like hitting a spring, you know, and he just finds a way with his body contorted to do things. And my goodness, what a phenomenal year by David Kirby and his crew. They're going to lose some really good seniors, especially in that offensive backfield. But Monroe City has a lot of talent coming back as well. And I don't think we've even seen remotely what Wyatt DeGrave is going to be when this is all said and done, and Lane Chin and, you know, some of those guys that they've got coming. So again, two great stories there. And the Hannibal narrative is as yet finally unwritten. But I can't wait to get over to St. Joe on Saturday to see just what Jeff Geschwender and the crew have planned. So again, I think, you know, yeah, wins and losses and state championships and all that are nice, but again, be in the moment, be appreciative of all the fun we've had this fall and all the great storylines and the way these kids and these communities have really powered what we cover. And for that, couldn't be more thankful and grateful. And since it's Thanksgiving week, or just was, we're coming off that, wanted to give thanks to everybody involved for making our run and allowing us to tell their stories so wonderfully the last couple of weeks. All right, that's all for football for now. We've got basketball to talk about. Super thrilled to talk to a guy I think is one of the greatest, most underrated coaches in our area in the last 30 years, in Greg Altmix. You know, he won at Highland, he won at Liberty. He was essential on the bench at Quincy Notre Dame, and now in his second year at Quincy Notre Dame, he's proven to be quite the coach with the takedown of Moline at the Wharton Fieldhouse last week, no less. Got a ton of questions for him. That's coming up as soon as Muddy River, the Muddy Night Lights, continues.
Since 1985, Hess Auto Agency has been your trusted source for pre-owned vehicles in the tri-state area. Families have experienced the Hess difference for generations and know they'll get the best vehicle buying experience in our region. With an ever-changing inventory, you'll find the right car at the right price. So when you want the best, don't guess. Choose Hess. Hess Auto Agency, 1124 North 24th in Quincy.
Top 5 reasons you should choose
Blessing Raymond College.
Small classes, peer tutoring, and lots of personal attention.
Financial aid opportunities, including grants, scholarship, and loan forgiveness.
Successful outcomes, from pass rates to job placement.
Hands-on learning, clinical experience at multiple sites, and no wait list.
The Simulation Center.
Master clinical skills in this state-of-the-art facility.
Be ready for anything.
What are you waiting for?
Enroll with Blessing Raymond College today.
Kitchen and Bath Gallery of Quincy. Trained craftsmen and expert contractors with friendly professional service. Our design team helps with every step of the process, guiding you from a vision to reality with uncompromised service. Trust your home to the local experts. Get a free quote today. From concept to creation, Kitchen and Bath create remarkable spaces and innovative builds. Kitchen and Bath Gallery, your home reimagined.
Are you as excited as we are that football season is back? Then you need to make Jersey's your one-stop destination for mouth-watering burgers, ice-cold beer, and all your local sporting events. So gather your crew and speed over to one of Jersey's 2 locations, 109 East Jefferson in Camp Point or 115 East Main Street, Mount Sterling. Jersey's Bar and Grill, your hometown sports bar.
We love beer!
Welcome back to Muddy Night Lights, live from the CDS Office Technology Studios in downtown Quincy.
And welcome back to Muddy Night Lights, everybody, powered by Farm and Home Supply. We're going to go to the Hess Auto Agency hotline for our first of many great colors on the night. Always fun to talk to Greg Altmix about basketball and about life in general. One of the, as I said earlier, one of the most underrated coaches in our area, I think, in the last 30 years with what he's accomplished. And obviously coming off a great first week. And first and foremost, Greg, welcome to the show. And thank you so much for joining us. And happy holidays to you, my friend.
Hey, the same to you, Chris. And appreciate you having me on.
Well, we certainly appreciated the way you started this season, and when you're afforded the opportunity to head to the Wharton Fieldhouse to take on Sean Taylor, heads up, and a really great Moline team, I know you never shy away from a challenge, and that's something that I think grows your kids. But to perform the way you did out of the gate, what pleased you most about that, Greg?
Oh, just being able to go on the road. You know, game one, anytime you start the season, you're always, there are a lot of question marks from your conditioning to your execution to, going on the road, taking a 2.5 hour, 3 hour road trip and doing something different. All of those things. There's just a lot of question marks. And, the guys answered a lot of questions that night and made everybody felt good after being able to go up there and, getting an opportunity to play in Wharton Fieldhouse and then being able to perform the way we did definitely felt like we answered a lot of questions that first night.
I think, Greg, to be fair, you had a much higher point A this year because there weren't unknowns this time around. How much did that matter this summer? Because I know you had a great summer.
It means a lot. And, anytime, having come to Notre Dame now, this is my third school, I'm obviously going to, as a coach, you want to go in, you want to do the best that you can. But, after having done this twice now before and having inherited very talented teams, there's time that is necessary for, I feel a high school coach to be able to put his system in, to get buy-in from the kids, to, get the culture developed. And, great Notre Dame is a great place to land, but, there's always, with a new coach coming in, there's always a lot of work. And so, I attributed a lot of what happened last year to the kids that, they did everything that they could. We just didn't get to where we wanted to be. And so at the end of the season, I was impressed with the underclassmen. They were not happy at the end of the season. And so, I kind of challenged them and I said, okay, if you're not happy with this, then you have an idea of what you need to do to get to where you want to go. And so guys put in the time and we had a good summer. And, when this year started, definitely everybody, I think, just felt more comfortable after a year. And I mean, that's to be expected. And as I said, I always feel bad for, the Greg Dilligards and the Michael Mass and the other players as seniors that we couldn't get them to where they would have liked to have gone. But then to be able to get the buy-in from the returning players. I'm always happy to see them have the success that I feel is warranted for the work that they put in.
Is some of that reflective, and I think you hinted at it, but you didn't get the Hollywood ending last year in the postseason, but the fact that at the end of the year, we could all see
Chris,
it for you much better.
Chris, hey,
yes.
Your voice is kind of scrambling. I'm not understanding. I'm sorry. I'm kind of losing you.
Let me try it again here, Greg. Was some of that reflective of the fact that we could all see it for your team last year, kind of in the postseason?
Chris, I'm sorry. What you were saying was kind of scrambled. I apologize. I don't know if it's on my end.
No, I think it's probably our end. We're fighting a few gremlins here. Tell me if you can hear me now,
Okay.
Greg.
I can hear you now. Yes. Good to go.
Okay, good deal. I'm going to hold my mic here just because it seems to be the only place in the studio that's working right now. So, and I'm superstitious. What I had asked you, Greg, was some of that reflective of the fact that you could actually see it? I know it didn't end the way you wanted in the postseason, but everybody could see it for you last year with the way that postseason run ended.
Well, you're always, when kids are trying to buy in, and you're trying to, I mean, as a coach myself, I'm trying to understand, and we're trying to find out, what combination of players, what can we do? And, Carter Miller went down with an injury, and I thought that hurt us. And, it just, it was tough. And so, it's just nice to see the guys bouncing back after a tough season last year to start off the way we have.
For you, let's play a little name association if we can. I'm going to start with Jason. Just what are the first things that come to mind when you look at Jason, the summer that he's had and what it's transitioned to for him?
Stepping up. It's one of those that, as I see a young man and the talent that he has, and it's like, okay, what can you do with this, and what can I do to be of assistance to help you develop that? But, I thought this summer, excuse me, he took a step up, and, it wasn't really a surprise. After seeing him this past season, it wasn't a surprise to me to have QU offer him there, because it's like, okay, if this is what he's done, from the end of the season until the summer, where's he going to be at in 2 years? And, I think he has a very high ceiling. And, even right now, he's not going to acknowledge this, but, he's still nursing those knees from coming off the football season. And so there were a couple, he's had his moments, but he hasn't once he's able to get his legs fully underneath of him, I think we still have another gear we're going to see this winter.
Well, you kind of alluded to football, and you do have a lot of length, and one of those guys who's played kind of a Swiss Army knife role for you is Gavin Dolman. So what's kind of your feel on where he fits your roster?
I've been really impressed with Gavin. As a young man that's getting a D1 scholarship offer, and is capable of doing what he's able to on the football field, to then have him come in, and I think he stepped up as well from last year. And it's one of those that I think there were a couple of guys that were expecting and hoping to get more playing time than what they did last year. And I think he wanted to come in and say, hey, I am a football player, but, I can play a little basketball too. And what he's done so far has shown, I think, me and the entire coaching staff, that he doesn't want to come off the bench anymore, that he wants to be in that starting lineup and show us what he can do.
I think there are a lot of people in both football and basketball who are, you can't even really call him a well-hidden secret anymore. Robbie Reed's a guy that's going to have a lot of impact on what you do this season.
I totally agree. And he was one that in our game on Saturday night, I thought he gave us the emotional lift, hey, we're going to finish this off. And he kept the motor running for us on Saturday night, because, we took the lead. And, they call timeout, and, it's like, okay, are we going to settle down now? We're getting a little tired. And it's like, no, we're not tired. We're going to keep pushing. We're going to keep going. And a lot of that was coming from Robbie. And so, he kind of made sure that we finished things off on Saturday night once we took the lead.
We've talked about the tall guys. Let's talk just a little bit about your backcourt, because I think it's an interesting dynamic. There's kind of a junkyard dog quality to Sullivan, and then you've got TJ, who is just this freakish athlete, and they seem to be finding some synergy.
They do. And, I give a lot of credit to Sully. We had a conversation early last season about what he wanted. And, if he wanted to be a guy that just came in, when the game was already decided, or if he wanted to be one of those guys that helped decide the outcome of the game. And he stepped up. And it's one thing to say, yeah, I want to be that guy. I want to get meaningful minutes. And it's another thing to come in and put in the time, put in the effort, put in the work to put yourself in that position. And that's exactly what he's done. And he's come in, like a lot of these guys have, showing that, hey, I want to play. I want to get time. I want to help contribute. I want to contribute. I want to help this team be successful. And so, I hand it to Sully because he's put in the work and he's earning every minute he gets.
So the schedule is not going to be easy from here on out, as you probably know better than anybody starting this week. Payson is a tough place to play. Macomb has a ton of talent. And then it's then. You've got the holiday tournament. You've got Route Catholic out there on the horizon. This is a really good schedule, though, at this point and throughout the year to get you where you want to be. Is it not, Greg?
It is. And, as far back as I've gone, I've talked to guys about improving schedules. And, I thought we got to a really good spot out at Liberty with getting a lot of tough teams on the schedule. And that's why when Sean called early, about a month or so ago and said, hey, we got an opening. Are you willing to come up? I think when you have that mentality of we want to play the best teams that we can, and, that's what we want to do. We want to up our schedule. We thought we had something worked out with Rochester in a game. The Sacred Heart game got moved from a Friday to a Saturday, so that got nixed. And, constantly talking to coaches and trying to find, the best teams that we can play. And it was kind of funny because I've had two people already today send me a little note, hey, Rock Island's looking for games. And I'm like, okay. But we've got a game with Brown County we're still trying to make up. But, we've got a spot on our schedule. And I always tell Eric Stratman, I said, we've got that Saturday off of the Quincy shootout so the boys can go and watch some top talent in the nation play. But, any weather-related incident or any issues, we're open on that date. So I always make him aware of that, and I'm sure he's tired of hearing it. But, that's what, to me, I'm not, whenever I'm done, I'm not going to look back on the number of victories. I'm going to look back at specific games. And those, to me, that's what I think the kids are going to remember. The kids are going to remember going to Wharton Fieldhouse. 20 years from now, they may forget. They're going to forget what their record was this year. But I think they'll always remember that trip to Wharton Fieldhouse. And so, when you play good teams, that brings about great memories. And, that's what we're really trying to create. Obviously develop young, high school kids into outstanding young men, but also trying to give them memories that will last them a lifetime.
Well, you do a great job of that, Greg. And before I leave you, I want to share a personal story with you. I went to the Kevin Brown Memorial Tournament, which is a phenomenal event in Washington. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I looked, and I was a day too early, but I looked at the roster and the schedule, and Grace Christian was there, coached by a young man named Marcus Dilligard, who has a son now playing for him, who's a freshman. There's nobody better than the Dilligard family. Just your recollections of being able to be a part of that at Highland.
Oh, I couldn't have asked for a greater family to welcome me my first year. And, as I spoke about, it was Greg's senior year. And so, making me feel welcome, the things, the travel that, Mike and Donna did to see Marcus, to see Greg, and just the close-knit family that, they had, that set an example for so many people in the area over there, and the work ethic that Greg had. Because, I think too many people look at basketball players and, sometimes they see somebody 6'9" and, a good player and just, well, he's 6'9", and, that he had that talent. And I'm like, man, I would like every player to work as hard as Greg Dilligard did, because he made himself. Yeah, he was blessed with the height, but he made himself the player that he was. And having had the opportunity to talk to Marcus a little bit, and now just two outstanding young men. So it says a lot for the job that Mike and Donna did raising those two guys, and that miss both of them, and at least still get a chance to catch up with Greg now and then, and so blessed to have worked with him.
Well, there is a special place that is now occupied in heaven by Mike and Donna, who are as good as they come, and they I know they are beaming down proud of those sons. So that's a beautiful sentiment. We'll leave you with that, Greg. Good luck the rest of the year. Good luck this weekend. Obviously not easy with Payson and Macomb, but a good luck to you and your crew the rest of the way.
Thanks a lot, Chris. I appreciate you having me on, and I look forward to seeing you guys.
Absolutely. And when we come back, we're going to talk some girls basketball. We heard an invocation of Brown County on the boys' side. The girls, the Hornets, really good on that front as well. Dave Phelps joins us next.
Decade after decade, Farm and Home Supply has been the place families turn for jeans that last. For style or for work, our jeans are made for every walk of life. Generation after generation, denim runs in the family at Farm and Home Supply.
We believe that accessing care close to home is better for you and better for your family. For 120 years, Hannibal Regional has been committed to providing community-based, contemporary health care. From state-of-the-art surgical care to innovative cancer care, and now life-saving open-heart surgery. We are dedicated to expanding access to exceptional care in each of the communities we serve. Hannibal Regional, why go anywhere else?
So what separates us most from all the other dealerships? It's the Toyota brand itself.
Once they buy a Toyota, they never buy anything else. #1 vehicle on the market, the best sedan on the market, some of the best reliable trucks on the market. And our main goal here is to try and get our customers the best payment possible.
We know the process and we pass that along to you.
We're simply looking to buy vehicles off the street.
And we want all makes and models of vehicles.
And you don't even have to buy anything in return. We'll just simply purchase it from you.
We can purchase a vehicle in 10 or 15 minutes or less.
Meet us at the Scoreboard, 8th in York and Quincy.
The home of Quincy's best cheeseburger is now under new ownership. All our time-tested menu items, along with some great new additions, all cooked on our perfectly seasoned grill, are waiting for you.
New wings and new sauces.
Ice cold buckets at some of the best prices in town.
Or even in a frosted mug.
Corner bar comfort for your favorite game on 7 big screens. Or play your own game and win big.
The Scoreboard, 8th in York and Quincy.
Area Distributors is a provider of products and services in the restaurant environment, the school environment, the factory environment, the office environment, and in the healthcare settings.
That's the value of Area Distributors, is that we help our customers out by providing them more product as one distributor.
I can tell you, if you call us and have a need, you're going to get timely response.
It's all about passion.
Welcome back, everybody, to Monday Night Lights, powered by Farm and Home Supply. We're going to go back to the Hess Auto Agency hotline, and we're going to talk some girls basketball and some atmosphere in the fine town of Mount Sterling, because it has been an exciting fall into a very exciting winter, we hope, for the Hornets. And we are joined now by the head coach of the Brown County girls basketball program, Dave Phelps. Dave, happy holidays to you.
Hey, thanks, Chris. It's good to be here.
It's good to have you, and it's also always good to start the season with you guys, because traditionally you're kind of the lid lifter for girls basketball with the Lady Hornet Invitational, which didn't get completed. First and foremost, though, great field, not just your team, not just West Hancock. I thought there was a lot of good play. Were you pleased overall with the field you had this year?
Extremely pleased. I was really happy to add Staunton this season. Coach Allen reached out. We had a spot to fill with Payson leaving, and she was gracious enough to come. It's a heck of a drive for Staunton to come up to play, and they're traditionally a really good program. She lost all 5 starters from a year ago, but they're still a scrappy bunch of girls who play hard, and I was happy to add them to it. But I think top to bottom, there's usually always, unfortunately, some teams that are struggling at the bottom of it, but I really thought there were a lot of competitive games, and teams even like Western who are struggling with their numbers, and it's their first year with the program. You could see just the marked growth from them. We played them in the very first game last Saturday, and to see their 4th game in pool play when they played Beardstown and had it down to the last second. It was a tie game with 2.9 seconds left and had a chance to send it to overtime. It was just incredible how much improvement they had made in 4 games. So I think it really speaks to the parity in our tournament, that you can't overlook anybody. You got to come to play every night and be ready to get after it. So really excited about our tournament and really what it's going to be the next few years to come, because there's some really good young teams, like Liberty in our tournament, and West Prairie's got some good young talent in theirs, and they've struggled over the last few years, so they take a big stride forward. So I really think our tournament is going to continue to grow over the next few years, and I'm really excited about where we're heading.
Yeah, I thought you did a great job locking that in, and the Southeastern Co-op obviously helps with West Prairie, but you mentioned Liberty, and that is a team that I think, it played incredibly well up until they ran into that West Hancock buzzsaw, which brings us to your championship game and that showdown, which I think a lot of people are super excited for. Do we have any resolution on dates, times, and when that may happen?
Well, I talked to Mike Jennings, our new AD this year, and I told him, here's 5 or 6 dates that would probably work for us, and he reached out to each team individually. And I'm thinking, I got the message I got from him today before I left for school. We got early today because of the snow. Was that we're looking at January 2nd.
Okay.
For the championship game, and then to play some of the other games, I think January 3rd. And then there's some teams that play each other that are struggling to find a common date that are open, because we want to play all 5 games.
Gotcha.
I don't want a team to lose out on playing a game. Because I personally feel that every game is critical. And losing out on one feels like you're losing out on an opportunity for your team to grow. So I don't want one of those teams to lose out on one of those games, because they're competitive games, because, it's on championship day, it's 5 versus 5, 4 versus 4, and so on. So you're playing somebody, the comparable talent to yourself. So usually 5 really good basketball games, competitive games. And I don't want those teams to lose out on that. Now the atmosphere of it might be a little different, playing, just one game on one day and 2 on another and 2 on another or something like that. But I'm hopeful we can get them all in.
Well, you talked about growth, and I really like the way your team has grown outside of, obviously you had, kind of a mega talent in Kenzie last year, and Kenzie Cassing, and obviously, Miss Markert was a huge factor when she was there as well, but I like the way everybody has kind of found their own identity within the piece of your offense. How much was that a point of emphasis, trying to create that kind of bond this year where everybody has a hand in?
Well, it was a huge part of it. We talked in the summer and even in open gyms this year about how people need to step up and take a big role. And I don't have any seniors. I start 5 juniors, and I got a couple more juniors and a couple freshmen that come off the bench for me. No sophomores either. So we're just a passel of juniors and freshmen out there. And we talked about the experience we have. Even though we still don't have any senior leadership, I have 6 or 7 girls that have played now their 3rd year of varsity basketball. So it's not like they're inexperienced, that, there was 5 freshmen last year and they're getting their first opportunity. These are, 2 girls in particular with Kinsey and Hope who have started since they were freshmen, and other girls like Jamie Lohr, who've come off the bench, and she started the second 2/3 of the year last year, and Lena Anderson and Maggie Henry, who have all got, a lot of minutes. Maggie started for most of the year last year too as a sophomore. So these girls have got a ton of experience, even though they're still just juniors. So really excited about the growth they made. Hope Ingram's made a huge growth. She's grown about 2 inches. So she's a 6-foot guard who can also go inside now. She's one of those kids that isn't afraid to put her back to the basket and make some moves to score too. Great rebounder for a girl who handles the basketball. And there's some who I believe are difference makers for us. I've told Jamie Lohr since this summer, and I told her, we had a few open gyms before we started practice. I said, be the difference. I said, you are the difference maker for us. You do the intangible things that don't show up in the box score. You guard the other team's best player, the best ball handler. You're on the ball all the time. You play great defense for us. You rebound, you hit a three, when the ball's kicked to you. And she is just one of those kids that after the game's over and you watch the film, like, wow, she did that really good. And then she did that really good. And she's just one of those kids that is going, I believe, through the season is going to make the difference for us.
Well, when I saw you, Lena has had a couple of really big games and big moments, and she's kind of the person that came out of nowhere for me. What's her development been?
I can't hear you, Chris.
Oh, sorry.
It's kind of muffled again.
Yeah, we'll try and pull the mic off and see if I was talking about Lena and what her development has been.
I got none of that, buddy.
Let me try one more time. The gremlins are back here tonight, Remy. Dave, I'm going to move around until you can hear me. Can you hear me, good sir? Hello?
It was a little better, but I still can't hear you.
Hello. I'm trying really hard here with this mic tonight. I've moved to the other side. How about that? All right. Well, we tried our best with Dave, and obviously his team has played really well out of the gate, and hopefully he'll hear me here in a second, and we'll keep extending until we do. Dave, anything? All right, I think we lost Dave. So again, a big thanks to him for joining in tonight. Again, the Brown County Lady Hornets have been a super fun watch to this point. I think it's a team that, yes, obviously has Kenzie Cassing, who's a returning All-Stater and one of the most prolific scorers, and she can score from anywhere on the floor. I mean, back to the basket, she can space the floor, she shoots it incredibly well, she can handle it. She's become a really good connector as well, but I think it's those other pieces. And you heard Dave talk about, Hope Ingram's development as kind of a primary ball handler and a really big one. And Dave Phillips seems to really like that idea of a big distributor and kind of a bigger point guard. So that's worked really well. And, I talked about Lena and how good she's been. I mean, they've been really nice pieces for them. So obviously Brown County, a team that bears watching. And I hope January 2nd we get the showdown between West Hancock and Brown County, because those seem to be two of the very best, or at least better, small school girls teams in our areas. But we will see in West Central Illinois this year. There's a lot still to shake out and a lot to go. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk some more girls basketball on the other side of the river with Adam Rung from Monroe City.
When you trust your healthcare needs to MDH, you'll receive the highest quality, compassionate care from our nationally accredited medical departments and award-winning staff. We are here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, providing exceptional care right here in Macomb. We also accept Aetna, HealthLink, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and most other insurance plans for your convenience. McDonough District Hospital, your regional healthcare partner, growing our legacy one patient at a time.
Does the thought of retirement overwhelm you? You are not alone. For over 25 years, Benson Financial Group has helped people just like you craft a plan to retire with purpose. Call us today in Quincy and Hannibal.
For 135 years, State Street Bank has stood as a pillar of trust and stability in Quincy, Illinois. For generations, families have trusted State Street Bank to be part of their biggest moments. We look forward to the future with gratitude and excitement. Thank you for being part of our journey. State Street Bank, 135 years of banking you can trust.
Neiman's, your neighborhood market.
Kitchen and Bath Gallery of Quincy. Trained craftsmen and expert contractors with friendly professional service. Our design team helps with every step of the process, guiding you from a vision to reality with uncompromised service. Trust your home to the local experts. Get a free quote today. From concept to creation, Kitchen and Bath create remarkable spaces and innovative builds. Kitchen and Bath Gallery, your home reimagined.
Not sure you're ready for retirement? With over 25 years of experience, the team at Benson Financial Group will meet you right where you are and craft a plan that's right for you. Call us today in Quincy and Hannibal.
Welcome back to Muddy Night Lights, live from the CDS Office Technology Studios in downtown Quincy.
And welcome back to Muddy Night Lights, powered by Farm and Home Supply. We're going to go back to the Hess Auto Agency hotline, and we're going to talk some more girls basketball. And by the way, do apologize for the mic gremlins tonight. Back in my television days, this would be the time where I said we're really having fun tonight, which meant we weren't. But we're going to have some fun now with Adam Rung, head coach of the Monroe City girls basketball team and an assistant on the football team. And, first of all, Adam, I want to start there because that was such a great energy for your community and kind of set the template with football. And I know it didn't end as you wanted, but being around Coach Kirby and being around Brock Idris and that staff and that community and that administration, boy, that has to make you feel like you've really landed in the right place in this job.
Yeah, first of all, our administration is super supportive of all our students and not just athletics, but we have a school musical that got a ton of participation. Our FFA, our FBLA, they've done a great job. So our administration, first and foremost, is super supportive of our Monroe City kids. And then, to be around the staff, Coach Kirby lets me hang out on Friday nights and chart some stuff for them offensively. And, just being around that staff and see how they do things and the continuity that they've had the last, decade plus is just something special. You don't see too much nowadays in high school sports. You see a lot of movement, but Coach Kirby and Coach Idris and Coach Van and Murphy and the rest of that, and Coach Lincoln and the rest of that staff, the continuity they have is something that's truly special. And then our community support is just phenomenal. The weather Friday wasn't the best, and a 2.5-hour drive to St. Pius and Monroe City really showed out. And so to be a part of that and to see the school spirit and the community support is something truly special.
That winter thing in Titletown, it washes over as well, because I think you benefit not just from being around the successful programs that you have on the boys' side, but Coach Chin does such a great job with softball, and some of those girls are yours. It's nice to have them in a winning mindset when they hit the door, is it not?
Yeah, I think all our athletics, you see it on the boys' side with football and then into basketball, the success they've had. And then on our side, you mentioned Coach Chen and the softball team, and you throw in Coach Mulvaney and what she's done with the cross-country program. We had some success on starting up our girls golf program. So we're in a really fun time in Monroe City where we got a lot of kids that are interested in participating, and not only participating, but being successful. Our weight room participation is really big in the summers, and all the coaches partake in that. And so, to have that and to see the success that the girls on my side have had in softball and cross country, and we can parlay that into basketball. And I think, the old adage is success breeds success. And I think we're a really good example of that.
You had a nice summer, and you've got a lot of girls back. You had a very young nucleus you kind of went to battle with last year, and you learned a lot. Do you feel like your point A this year is higher for Monroe City girls basketball?
Yeah, we did graduate, a lot inside. We had a couple 4-year starters and Audrey Youngblood, and I guess a 3-year starter in Kaylin Chapman, and then Megan Hayes started in the backcourt for us. And we also graduated Sam Hathaway and Avery Johnson, who played minutes. But, we bring back a 4-year starter in Erin Hayes. Ava Potterfield got really good minutes last year and started a significant amount of games in the second half of the season. And we also bring back Tamia Reinberg. But then we have a good group of young kids that, that those 3 seniors that I mentioned before are doing a really good job of leading, but that kind of brings something different to us. They have probably a little better offensively than we were a year ago. Now we got a long way to go defensively, but it's a group that's eager. It's a group that right now is, you can really see us kind of just figuring out and really coming together. And it's exciting to see this early in the season.
What are you pleased with in the start to this point? What needs to improve? I think you hearkened on defense already.
Yeah, we hang our hat defensively, and that group of seniors that we graduated a year ago, they really good group of athletes, and they really bought into what we did defensively. What I like so far is we played 2 games, and they're kind of 2 different games. We played Montgomery County to open the year, and we trailed most of the game. And so we dealt with how do you stay in the game on the road, and then we figured out how to win one at the end. And then last Tuesday we went to Moberly, and we led most of the game. And so and then we had to figure out how do you maintain a lead? How do you what do you do at the end of the game? So with a young group, for us, that those 2 games are really good learning pieces. And every time we take the court, it's going to be something that we learn, and we're able to be able to coach the girls and teach the girls. And like I mentioned earlier, it's a group that's eager to learn. And it's really cool to see how they've handled those 2 games. And we've been fortunate to come away with a couple of victories. And I think we're building confidence, and, hopefully we can continue that going forward.
Well, we're fortunate to have you tonight because you had a game that was snowed out this evening. But you've got a great schedule, largely because you play at a great conference, and being around with a powerhouse like Centralia, a powerhouse like Highland, a traditionally strong program like South Shelby, Palmyra on down the line. You're going to be better at the end of this regular season than you are at the start. Just your mindset about getting to play within the framework of those kind of teams and getting tested by a couple of teams that have legitimate state championship chances this year?
Yeah, we like to test ourselves. You mentioned, being able to work for Coach Kirby and be a part with his staff. He's not afraid to go play anybody. Coach Idris isn't afraid to go play anybody. We take that same mindset. We want to see where we're at. It only helps you down the road. And in the postseason, and it really, for us, prepares us for conference play. You mentioned the programs out in our league, and there's going through the teams this year, it's going to be no different. It's going to be just as much of a challenge as it ever is. Centralia with what they return, and Highland with what they return, and what Luke has done at South the last 8, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And then Macon has a couple of really good guards,
yeah.
and Palmyra, and it's just every night is something, and then we try to challenge ourselves in the non-conference. You play the Quincy Notre Dames, and you play bigger schools, the Hannibals and Kirksvilles and Moberlys, and you do that in Montgomery County and Coach Basinger and what he has, and you do that to test yourself, and like for this group, we need to be tested. Because when you get to the postseason, if you're not ready for it, you're going to be done pretty quickly. And, so that is why we like to play the schedule we do, and we're not going to back away from it.
Adam, it's not really like on the sporting calendar. It doesn't feel like Christmas or the holidays in my world until the Monroe City tournament rolls around, which is such a great event, the oldest event in the state of Missouri, one of the oldest events in the entire country. What does that week mean to you to now be you've seen it from the outside, and now it's yours and you're a part of it? What does that event and the way the community rallies around it that week mean to you?
Well, I think you're asking about the Monroe City tournament. I think your mic the mic was acting up there.
Yes.
Last year was the 100th year of the tournament, and this year, we 101 and the longest in the state, and it's just something special. Our community takes a lot of pride in it. Our kids take a lot of pride in it, and it's a really good early season tournament to test where you're at. Obviously Highlands here. But there's some schools we don't maybe see during the year that are also there. Paris and Palmyra, obviously we see, and South we see, but Louisiana we don't see. And so it's a good early season test, and it's some home games, and we get to play in front of our crowd. And like I said, it's something that we truly take pride in, and we love to put on a great tournament.
I changed mics, and I'm hoping this is the lucky one now. If you would, talk to me about Naren Hayes and just what a wonderful, not just basketball player and athlete she is, but the total package as a student athlete.
Yeah, once again, the mics, I think I heard Naren's name in there. Naren's, you know, a 4-year starter for us. And, you know, like I said, with her and our other seniors, they've done a great job of leadership, but you can really kind of see Naren growing into the leader that we like her to become this year. She's done a great job in the first 2 games, and I think she's really done a good job of playing within herself and doing a good job of getting everyone else involved. And then when we've made some mistakes, she's done a good job of trying to pick the other girls up, you know, and really bring them along and let them know, hey, it's okay. You know, we got to keep playing. But, you know, 4 years in our program, you know, and we've asked a lot of her in those 4 years. And she's been nothing but, you know, done nothing but what we've wanted and been, you know, just gotten better and better as she's gotten older. And I'm really looking forward to seeing her have a great senior year. And, you know, hopefully we can make it a really successful one for her.
Well, best of luck to you, Adam, down the stretch. We appreciate you as ever, and I appreciate you deciphering scrambled doer on the mic. Hopefully this gets better as the night picks up. But best to you and happy holidays, my friend.
Thanks, Chris. And I got the last part of it, so that's good. And I appreciate you having me. Hopefully I answered those questions correctly when the mic did get scrambled. But we appreciate all you and Chuck and Muddy Rivers does for our area. And, you know, best of holidays to you as well.
Thank you, my friend. You nailed it. Thank you, Adam, and good luck to you and the Monroe City Lady Panthers the rest of the way. And we are going to come back. We're going to talk some boys basketball with Palmyra head coach Brian Ray.
Since 1929, we've been here to serve our communities with the best products and the best service. You are the reason we go to work every day, and we thank you for that. After all, we live where you do.
Area Distributors is a provider of products and services in the restaurant environment, the school environment, the factory environment, the office environment, and in healthcare settings.
That's the value of Area Distributors, is that we help our customers out by providing them more product as one distributor.
I can tell you, if you call us and have a need, you're going to get timely response.
It's all about passion.
Decade after decade, Farm and Home Supply has been the place families turn for jeans that last. For style or for work, our jeans are made for every walk of life. Generation after generation, denim runs in the family at Farm and Home Supply.
Since 1985, Hess Auto Agency has been your trusted source for pre-owned vehicles in the tri-state area. Families have experienced the Hess difference for generations and know they'll get the best vehicle buying experience in our region. With an ever-changing inventory, you'll find the right car at the right price. So when you want the best, don't guess. Choose Hess. Hess Auto Agency, 1124 North 24th in Quincy.
My philosophy in pediatrics is definitely prevention, early intervention, and advocacy. Being an advocate for my patients is one of the main reasons why I got into pediatrics in the first place. I like working close with families and being able to empower moms, especially first-time moms, or empower any caregiver. MDH Peds gives that family-centered care. My name is Leilani Segura, and I am a pediatrician at McDonough Districts Hospital.
Welcome back to the CDS Office Technology Studio. for Muddy Night Lights, powered by Farm and Home Supply. Hey, we've had some mic issues, but we're going to hope Brian Ray is going to change our luck right now because his basketball team is off to a fine start. Happy holidays, Brian. Great for you to join us, and thanks for jumping on with us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure, my friend. And before I get to basketball, because I think that's how people mostly know you in the Tri-States, but you this spring and Brian Ray, when he coaches golf, this isn't just somebody out doing the stipend thing. I think you really enjoy and love this based on the way you've talked about your kids. You were able to win a state championship in golf with a great group of guys this year. What was that experience like for you? How much fun was that for you? And what drives you on the golf side, Brian?
Oh, it was a ton of fun. And, the year prior, we took third place. We were in the lead after day one. We didn't have the best weather conditions the second day, and we didn't play our best and stuff. But from day one, it took the kids, about a week to warm up to me, because I only had, I think, one kid that played basketball that knew me other than just being a teacher and the basketball coach. And they found that I wasn't there to just, send them out on the course and then, tell them, all right, practice is over, you can go home, stuff like that. They weren't used to it at first. I was drill work, working on short game, things like that. And they really took to it and saw how serious that I took it. And I think that just elevated their level of play and caring and, working on their own and enjoying the labor of practice and getting better, not just go on playing. So, from day one, I've been all about it. Love the sport. It's a great sport, for the rest of your life. And it's great for, competitiveness and mental toughness and things. And that we needed a lot of that this season in a couple of our matches. And especially in the state championship, we came from behind. I love it. I take it just as serious as I do basketball or anything else that I coach. And I think that helped us out a little bit. It's still the kids playing and doing their thing. So I'm not going to take credit for their talents and stuff, but to get them to see that it's not just a recreational thing. We're here to compete and win. I think they really like that, and I think they've made some really good memories in these past two seasons. Hopefully make some more.
It almost seems like a genetic imperative with you, Brian, from I know the way you were raised, that you take great pride in making people elevate themselves. And I guess you wouldn't go into that business if it didn't matter to you. But it just seems like in whatever endeavor, that is something that's at your core incredibly important to you.
It is, and I know it. It's kind of cliche and stuff, but it's true. I really want kids to be the best versions of themselves, and I was afforded that by my father coaching me, and the things he instilled in me and my teammates and the players before me and after me. And from the time I was little and could sit on the bench, I was, trying to help him coach and stuff. And that's all I wanted to be was just like my dad. And, he had such an impact on so many people. And, I want that, not for myself, but to leave a legacy when I'm all done. And that's why I'm not, super talkative and stuff with trying to toot my own horn or our programs or anything like that. I want the kids to be, in the forefront, and I want them to be able to have the same experience or better than I had and to be better than I ever was. And, if I can get kids that people look at and go, these kids can't be much. And, you get them on the court, you get them on the course and, or the field and stuff, and they perform above what, they could or their expectations from others and stuff. That's a joy that I really, really get. It's easy to win with talent, but I really love the thrill and
the challenge of, being successful year in, year out with kids that people have either given up on or don't think have it in them. And I think that's a great thing to witness for those kids and watch them grow up to be great men.
Historically, with your teams, I always find it interesting that your best player, not, quote unquote, most talented player, and maybe your quote unquote least talented player are always unselfish and always seem to find a driven dynamic to connect to the guy next to them, no matter who it is. I mean, it shows in the way your teams move the basketball, but I think it shows more importantly in the way they play for each other, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's, I think that's harder to get than the X's and O's. I mean, there's so many, ways to go about coaching the game and what you do offensively and defensively and stuff, but to get them to truly submit to the team and the greater good and, elevate each other. And I tell them daily, and we talk about it and I quiz them about it and stuff. And I always ask them, what makes you great? And, they'll give me different answers and stuff like that. And I said, really what makes you great is if people are better because of you. If you step on the court, you step in the classroom, you step on the field, you step into your job, whatever. If people are better because you're there, that makes you great. You don't have to be the leading scorer. You don't have to be the most talented, but you can be the greatest if you elevate everyone around you. And, that's one of the hardest things to get teenage kids to buy into. But when they do, it's amazing. And I still see, I'll go work out at Planet Fitness and stuff. And there'll be times that I've got 5 or 6 guys in there that I've coached, at Payson or, Palmyra or whatever. And, they come up to me and still talk to me and would reminisce about things. And, I love seeing kids, grow up and be men. And it's what drives me. The winning is fun, but if I didn't get to coach a game ever again, I'd be fine if I could go to practice and, get those kids to learn how to coexist together, make each other better.
I know it's not your nature to ever cite an excuse, but last year's postseason, I'll say it, not really a fair test of who you guys were. How driven are your kids coming off that last year, knowing that maybe the postseason isn't geared the right way, but that they still have unfinished business this year and the capability of kind of reaching new goals?
It's difficult because they're still kids and they see the path and everything, but I'm trying to get them to not waste a day. I tell them this all the time, and I really mean it. And it's, I think, probably the main focus of, my philosophy. I want them to get every ounce of ability and effort out of themselves. So when it's all done, they can look themselves in the mirror and say, I don't have many regrets. I'm not going to, turn into the father that stands on the fence and yells at their kid and tries to live vicariously through them. I said, I want you to be great fathers. I want you to love watching your kids play and let them, do their thing because you had your time. I don't want you to look back with a bunch of regrets. I want you to be able to walk away and say, hey, I had a great time, great career, great to be part of the team and program. I'll be part of it forever. And, I can move on. And, that's kind of what we're looking at. And I don't want them to miss an opportunity because they're looking ahead or looking for, we're going to have to go through this team or whatever. We're telling them all the time. We even told them this morning after practice, we're not playing against the opponent. We're playing against the game of basketball. If we try to beat the game of basketball, which can never be done, it would be perfection, but that's what we're seeking. And if we can do that, we give ourselves a chance against a lot of really good teams to come out on top.
Is there a collective outlier with this group? Because it is I know some of these guys from your basketball team last year, but from other sports, it is a really likable group of guys just in general, which has to make your job a little easier and a little more fun in doing it. Is there a collective outlier that just kind of, I know you've had the good start, that just kind of you can build on with this team maybe more than a different team?
I think the addition of, a kid like Case in Augsburg that hasn't played organized basketball and came this summer and wanted to play and has really enjoyed it. And I think he's going to have a great career. I think he's brought a different dynamic. I think we've got a good mixture of guys that are basketball guys that are, I guess you'd say football guys. I think the way that the coaches are, getting along and stuff, and we're supporting each other and everything, all that stuff. It's a great group of kids, and they, sometimes you got to rein them in, because if there was a state championship for, goofing off, we might win that one yearly. But it does make it fun. So, I'm just trying to get them to lock in when they need to, but I don't want to take away their attitudes and their fun and stuff. I just want them to be able to harness it. And like I said, I've stopped them a lot of times and said, guys, you guys are state champions at goofing off. Let's lock in and get ready. But I think that makes it fun. And there's never a dull moment. There's always something. And I think some of the sarcastic humor that I have, and I get that from my father as well, I can get them to smile or laugh or something like that, be silly with them and get them back on track. And I think it's just overall a good dynamic with all of them.
I'll leave you with this, sir. I'm going to say weather permitting, which I know makes the native Michiganer in you just retch at like a trace of snow canceling games. But weather permitting, you get to open and christen a brand new gym, which looks absolutely phenomenal tomorrow night against Mark Twain. That kind of capital investment in your community, in your program, and let's face it, it's not just your program or the girls' program, it's in kids. What does that mean, and just how cool is that for you to see that happen on your watch?
I think it's great. At Payson, I painted the gym a couple times on my own with the help of a couple players to spruce it up. When we went to the Elite Eight, they had some boosters and stuff, asked what I want. I said, well, I'd like a new floor. And they got that done. And the kids really loved that and took pride in it. And then, our boys don't like to have late practices. So we always, if we're not in the big gym, we go in the small gym and stuff, and I don't mind that. But, they asked me after the first practice of the second week we had in the small gym, they asked, Coach, would you mind if we went late so we could have the big gym? And I was like, yeah, that's what you want. I mean, they're take a lot of pride in it, and they really love being in there. And it's the same facility, but it's not. It's like they tore it all down and rebuilt it, even though they didn't. So I think it's a source of pride for them, for us, for our school. And, I'm looking forward to showing off what our kids can do for the people that pay to watch them do it. And I don't think we're going to get to do it tomorrow night, but I think we'll be able to move it to Thursday. And then also going back to the golf, between the third and fourth quarter of the girls' game, we'll get to do the ring presentation ceremony for those golfers for the state championship. So that'll be something cool as well for the first night of, showing off the gym.
Well, that's awesome, my man. And it's always great to talk, not just basketball, but life in general with you. Love the perspective, Brian. Wish you and your team the very best of luck on your journey, which I think that's the thing that you've always kind of kept it. It's not wins and losses. It's a journey from start to finish. So kudos to you. Best of luck to you, my friend, and happy holidays.
Thank you very much. And I love what you guys are doing. Thank you for what you do for, the kids and programs and coaches and communities of Northeast Missouri and West Central Illinois and stuff. It's awesome. And I really appreciate it.
You're very kind, my man. Again, that was Brian Ray, head coach of Palmyra boys basketball and the state champion boys golf team from this past year. As you heard Brian say, looks like the Mark Twain game will now be played on Thursday, which will christen the new gym. And we're going to get to celebrate Skeeter Krager, who also signs his college letter of intent, I believe, on Wednesday. So that's a young man who's kind of gone the Corey Pavin route with golf. Not the biggest dude in the world, but man, has he accentuated his skills and was obviously a huge part of that state championship. So great Palmyra stuff there. We're going to take one more break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Dan Sparrow, the head coach of the Liberty boys team, who are the champions of the turkey tournament at Pittsfield. Been a big week for them. We'll catch y'all up when Monday Night Lights continues.
So what separates us most from all the other dealerships is the Toyota brand itself.
Once they buy a Toyota, they never buy anything else. #1 vehicle on the market, the best sedan on the market, some of the best reliable trucks on the market. And our main goal here is to try and get our customers the best payment possible.
We know the process and we pass that along to you.
We're simply looking to buy vehicles off the street.
And we want all makes and models of vehicles.
And you don't even have to buy anything in return. We'll just simply purchase it from you.
We can purchase a vehicle in 10 or 15 minutes or less.
We believe that accessing care close to home is better for you and better for your family. For 120 years, Hannibal Regional has been committed to providing community-based, contemporary health care. From state-of-the-art surgical care to innovative cancer care, and now life-saving open-heart surgery. We are dedicated to expanding access to exceptional care in each of the communities we serve. Hannibal Regional, why go anywhere else?
Meet us at the Scoreboard, 8th in York and Quincy.
The home of Quincy's best cheeseburger is now under new ownership. All our time-tested menu items, along with some great new additions, all cooked on our perfectly seasoned grill, are waiting for you.
New wings and new sauces.
Ice cold buckets at some of the best prices in town.
Or even in a frosted mug.
Corner bar comfort for your favorite game on 7 big screens. Or play your own game and win big.
The Scoreboard, 8th in York and Quincy.
For 135 years, State Street Bank has stood as a pillar of trust and stability in Quincy, Illinois. For generations, families have trusted State Street Bank to be part of their biggest moments. We look forward to the future with gratitude and excitement. Thank you for being part of our journey. State Street Bank, 135 years of banking you can trust.
Since 1929, we've been here to serve our communities with the best products and the best service. You are the reason we go to work every day, and we thank you for that. After all, we live where you do.
Welcome back to Monday Night Lights, live from the CDS Office Technology Studios in downtown Quincy.
And welcome back to Monday Night Lights, powered by Farm and Home Supply. I'm enjoying the heck out of this, even with the mic stuff, but I do miss Shuck. And hopefully we will both be back together right here next Monday. And I know Shuck in particular is disappointed he doesn't get to be here for this next interview because Dan Sparrow's one of the really good eggs, not just in college, or excuse me, in high school basketball and high school sports, but all he does for Liberty High School is its athletic director as well. And he's coming off a really big week. His kids had a phenomenal week down at Pittsfield at the Turkey Tournament. Dan Sparrow, happy holidays and thanks for joining me, my friend.
Well, happy holidays, and I appreciate you doing this, and for all you and Chuck do for the kids, and and then even Farm and Home for sponsoring. Sometimes when you're an athletic director, you're always looking for sponsorships and all kinds of things, and so I know a lot goes into that, and being able to showcase kids.
Well, I've gotten a chance to follow your coaching career for a long time and in a lot of different avenues. And boy, the fit at Liberty seems like it's been like a glove to this point. For you, just what's it mean to kind of, after traveling kind of the world, or at least the Illinois basketball world, what's it mean to be back home?
Well, it's nice. Obviously, back in the Quincy community, I think when I first started out, being an assistant with Coach Wallace and growing up in the Quincy, obviously that was always a dream to kind of be there at the high school level and that type of thing. But different things take you different places, and then heading to Jacksonville was a great experience over there, and thinking that was going to be my last stop of my career, and then up to Limestone and spent 6 years up there, and they were very, great to me up there and that type of thing. And then coming back and watching my kids play and kind of coaching them at the lower levels and starting with feeder programs, and that was kind of eye-opening and getting back to the basics. But I think the 15-16 year and helping Coach Altmix, when we got to go to state, obviously the coaching bug started to bite at that point in time. Even though being an administrator down at the junior high, it was difficult. The community of Liberty welcomed me and both Jack and Reed out there as the ball boys on that team, and then being able to help him, assist him, a little bit later, and then going out there as AD, it definitely was a very nice fit for me and my family.
I admire the job you've done negotiating the very difficult line between being coach and dad. Is there a secret to that, Dan, for you?
A lot of discussions, beforehand of which role am I going to have to, wear which hat, I guess. When I'm coach to all of them. But when you're a coach, you take all kids on as your own, and you develop relationships with them, and you're hard on them, but you also have good conversations with them because you care about more than just the game. You want to see them develop as person. I know Coach Ray talked about that a little bit beforehand too. It was something that Coach Leggett had in his thing. Not so much. It's not about wins. It's how many men or how many boys to men that you turn into men. And I think when you put it there, that's what you want to be able to see is how these kids go on later in life and what they're able to do well after the game's over.
I think you are blessed, not just with, obviously with your son Reed now, but this is a fun group of guys. Does that translate for you, just knowing some of the personalities? And you've got some big personalities on that roster. Does that make it fun as well?
Absolutely. It started probably back in like third and fourth grade basketball. I had Tate Huber and Vince Cramsey. They did traveling basketball with Reed, and had Hunter Froman up at Warsaw, and Adler Gray at Unity. Brennan Lepper was the young one on a team, and so you see all these TJ over at Notre Dame was on our traveling team. So you see all these kids around the area that got a chance to coach and develop and travel, and probably even during COVID when we were going over to Missouri and into Iowa to go play some basketball, really got to know those families and those kids. And it was just an enjoyable time. And then now to see three of them, and now it's starting to spread to the other kids on the team about what it's about, and, the unselfishness and, kind of putting things together has really been nice.
So I probably did you a disservice because this summer I said you guys looked a little wonky. You kind of told me that you don't really go into summer with a lot of the stuff that you're going to do, which I think showed this week, because I thought, with what you did at Pittsfield, it was super connected, and you have guys really starting to share the ball in a really fun way. How pleased were you with the week that you had down in Pittsfield?
Well, don't sell yourself short. That article obviously helps us motivate us a little bit too.
Yeah.
So, no, we saw that. We knew, our consistency is always a big thing for us. Last year we just had the one senior, and we were very young, and we weren't as strong as what we needed to be. So a lot of time in the weight room and developing. Even going into the season, there were some things that we were worried about. We were worried about our post play. We didn't know who was going to kind of fill Jack's role and how that was all going to come out. We tried Reed a little bit in the summer, and we saw that, man, he could go down there and score just about any time he wanted, but he kind of tended to drift back out to the perimeter. And So it was like, how are we going to convince him that he can stay down in there and do a lot of damage? And then he just kind of embraced the role on the night one, and we didn't see him start coming out of there. And he still got some open looks, and he's able to do that. But we really stressed on the defensive side of the basketball, went with what we know. And like you said, our summer program, and as we talked about, we just want to see where kids are at and what they can do, and try to develop from there to kind of put a game plan in place. So that as the season, moves along, we're not showcasing everything in November, but hopefully by January, the end of January, February, we're hitting our stride, and, teams are seeing some first things that when did they put this in? Well, we've already started working on some of that stuff that we're going to have ready for hopefully postseason.
So the construct of your team is that you've got two guys who could probably go for 30 on any given night. You've got one of the most warp speed ball movers anywhere to be found here. What are your concerns going forward with trying to get, as you said, kids to men and men better as a collective, as a basketball team moving forward? What do you most want to see, Dan, in the growth process for this Liberty Eagle team? Because I think people do have some expectation, and they do really like, when you're at the high end, what you look like as a basketball team.
Yeah, I think obviously the consistency, and that's going to come from, everybody understanding their roles and what they can do and what they bring to the team, and the unselfish play. Understanding that obviously, with Vince and Reed, they're going to get their touches, but they're also going to cause a lot of other people to be open and hopefully get some easy baskets for us and that type of thing, and moving without the basketball, setting the screens that need to be set. But ultimately on the defensive side of the basketball is where it's got to be done, and really, sparking that fast break and getting us out on the open floor. The open floor is so hard to guard, picking up where they're going to be, who's filling lanes, and doing that. I think if defensively we can cause some confusion, create some turnovers, we got pretty good length. For us, we don't have the super tall kid, but it seems like we got about 4 or 5 kids that are all about 6'3", 6'4", and so definitely makes it hard to guard, and we can create a lot of pressure out there on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, help me look smart here. Is there a kid on your roster that we don't know enough about, who's kind of the hidden weapon or kind of the hidden drive engine for you?
Well, Gavin Edgar, obviously came on in the last game, and we saw bits of it last year. We talked about, everybody's going to put 1, 2, and 3, on probably Vince, Tate, and Reed on their defenders, and so he's going to get number 4 and 5 on him, and that he's a lot stronger than he was last year. Okay. He's able to finish around the basket. He can shoot the basketball. There were some games last year where he'd have 15 points, and you saw sparkles of it here and there, and it seemed like what we're looking for is that consistency and getting that. Brody Klauser coming off the bench, fills a big role for us. Evan Sims, and then we've got 3 seniors that have been, 2 of them have been a part of the program, and getting them to understand their roles and what they can do, and Tanner Cooley and Tommy Schutte, and then Aiden Klingel going out for the first time this year gives us a lot of reach up there on that point of that press, and just kind of getting him caught up to the speed of the game and that type of thing. It gives us a little bit of depth that in the summer they didn't know, and as a coach, you sit back and say, man, I can use this kid here, and we can do this type of thing with him. And, maybe our offense is a little bit better with this kid on the floor, and defensively we might have to hide him here. And, it's working chess pieces, constantly within your own team, but also what other teams are doing to you.
You've been a basketball guy since birth, and you mentioned the roster construction jigsaw puzzle of it all. I know you love when the environment of basketball is good, and in West Central Illinois, the high end is really high this year, whether it's, Route Catholic, or it's Brown County, or Q&D, or Macomb, who I know you play. What's that mean, just to know that you're going to get a couple of times a month a sectional caliber opponent just to help you grow throughout the course of this regular season?
Well, it means everything, right? You want to continue to have those high pressure games and high pressure situations, so that way, you're not numb to it when you're basically numb to it when it comes to postseason. That's not new. You can win all the games that you want, but that first round, regional, even with Payson last year, we beat them twice, and going into that regional, we felt strong about it, but postseason happens, and a senior laden team like that, came to play, and we just didn't get it done. And so I think our kids now understand that, and they've kind of had a little bugaboo this junior class about being able to finish things off, and when it comes time for the big games, going back to their junior high careers and that type of thing. And we wanted to, kind of put that to the end. And I felt like, last Friday, we had a complete game to where we answered some of our own questions about what we're going to be, and met with them afterwards and said, hey, there's bigger things out there than the Pittsfield tournament that are waiting on us. And now it's up to us to go out there and just continue to improve and grow and, take them one day at a time.
Well, that's a wonderful place to be, Dan. Thanks for all you do for not just Liberty basketball, but Liberty athletics. And always great to talk basketball and life with you as well. Wishing the Eagles the very best moving forward. And if you ever need freelance motivation, as you can tell, I'm happy to lob a grenade into the room at your beck and call at any time you want to ask.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. Matt has a tendency to do that from time to time too as well. So we'll take any bulletin board material we can get.
We're instigators, but we love you. Thanks a lot, Dan. Take care.
All right. Thank you.
All right. We have wrapped up the basketball portion of the show. When Monday Night Lights continues, we're going to talk some football. We've got some adjusting to do, and we're going to shuck them up. And all from the same place, no less, when Monday Night Lights continues.
Does the thought of retirement overwhelm you? You are not alone. For over 25 years, Benson Financial Group has helped people just like you craft a plan to retire with purpose. Call us today in Quincy and Hannibal.
Top 5 reasons you should choose
Blessing Raymond College.
Small classes, peer tutoring, and lots of personal attention.
Financial aid opportunities, including grants, scholarship, and loan forgiveness.
Successful outcomes, from pass rates to job placement.
Hands-on learning, clinical experience at multiple sites, and no wait list.
The Simulation Center.
Master clinical skills in this state-of-the-art facility.
Be ready for anything.
What are you waiting for?
Enroll with Blessing Raymond College today.
Neiman's, your neighborhood market.
Ready to retire on your terms? At Benson Financial Group, it's about more than money. It's about purpose. With over 25 years of experience, our team works together to craft a plan that fits your goals and values in Quincy and Hannibal.
Are you as excited as we are that football season is back? Then you need to make Jersey's your one-stop destination for mouth-watering burgers, ice-cold beer, and all your local sporting events. So gather your crew and speed over to one of Jersey's 2 locations, 109 East Jefferson and Camp Point, or 115 East Main Street, Mount Sterling. Jersey's Bar and Grill, your hometown sports bar.
We love beer!
Welcome back to Monday Night Lights, powered by Farm and Home Supply. Remington Yates, say hi to the people.
Hello, everybody.
Remington, we're about ready to make an adjustment, Remy, but before I do that, I need to ask about a personal adjustment.
Okay.
So I was at home tonight and I was trying to operate the family computer printer, and it was out of toner.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, not a great spot to be in. And my wife, who is usually very diligent about these things, had no cartridge at the ready. And I said to her reflexively, without thinking, "You have failed me for the last time, Starscream."
I love it.
She didn't get the reference.
Wow.
Am I in the wrong here, or is she?
I'd say she. Sadly, I'm going to have to go with she's in the wrong. You've got to know the
You
Transformers.
can't tell Angie Dewar she's ever in the wrong. So I'm going to take and wear that one. But I just thought, random, Transformers riff, pretty good stuff.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Love Transformers. I grew up on of course, I grew up on the Michael Bay movies as a kid.
Yes.
I did watch a lot of the cartoons and stuff whenever they pop on Cartoon Network whenever I stayed at my grandparents. So.
Do not mess with the Decepticons, see?
Nope.
There you go. All right, courtesy of Dr. J, we've got some football to talk about. We've got an adjustment to make as part of our adjustment of the week. It comes to us from, you guessed it, Hannibal Football, which, pulled off this incredible defensive masterpiece, if you want to call it that, and I do, based on what they were able to do against a St. Mary's team that came in, obviously a Final Four team, Remy, which means they're good, correct? Nobody accidentally gets their way into the Final Four.
No, absolutely not. If you can consistently do it, you've got a very good program putting foot there, and you are constantly getting very good talent.
And you've heard me talk all season about the Hannibal defense and how good I think it is. And Chuck is sometimes pushed back a little bit, just basically in the, hey, let's prove it, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone has their own mindset on how they look at things. And, Hannibal's defense, and of course, I haven't been able to see Hannibal because, of course, I've been busy with my own things, covering some other things. But I think, I would love to have seen their defense this year to give my own opinion on it.
And in credit to Shuck, after the Zumwalt West game, they gave up 31 points to a team, obviously a very talented team, but I don't think anybody was happy at that. The adjustments since, adjustment of the week, has been phenomenal, courtesy of Dr. Justin Felsman. But that's not what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about a specific game adjustment that basically allowed Hannibal to put together, I think, what you would argue when you give up I think it was 108 total yards to a Final Four team, and not a score on the board. That is incredible work by anybody's standards. And what made that happen, Remy, what we're going to celebrate here as our adjustment of the week, is the fact that Hannibal was able to do that. How many people would you guess they had on the defensive line to be able to stop a 2,000-yard rusher and hold him to 51 yards on 17 carries? How many guys do you think they were playing on the defensive line, Remy?
Typically, I would run 5 if I was a defensive coordinator. 5 or 4. I wouldn't go any less than that.
They did it with a 3-man line for almost the entirety of the game. Now, those 3 men, with some rotations, obviously, Christian Nyson, Aiden Scott, and obviously the Division I, and he'll announce his Division I commitment a little later this week on Wednesday, Trey Hoskins. Three guys who were just, and they each made maybe a few splash plays, but it's what they do that set the tone for everybody else. So I'm going to give credit here for the adjustment of the week to defensive coordinator Jamie Hoskins, who was able to find a way in such a big game to attack with 8 guys at the back end to make it harder to run. Does that seem fair?
That seems fair to me.
Well, let's take a look at some of the handiwork courtesy of Dr. J and Adjustin Chiropractic.
Tired of that old sports injury taking you out of the game? Give us a call at Adjustin Chiropractic to see if we can help you get back to living your life and doing the things that you love and enjoy doing. Now back to the guys. Here's the play that adjusted the outcome of the game.
Now, those are some bad dudes, but I'd be remiss if I also didn't point out the very important contribution I believe it was on the first play from scrimmage from Nick Ferreira, who came off the edge on a blitz and registered the first of 4 sacks on the day. This from your cornerback, which obviously I think really, it was weird because we kept hearing about St. Mary's Southside and this phenomenal back, Kingston Miles, and the fact that, he kind of reminded me, he's not to that level yet, but kind of in style and in build, a little bit of, vintage early career Jairell Brock. So I don't know that he's that level or he's going to be that level, but there are a lot of people that think he might be the best running back in St. Louis, if not one of them, next year. And for them to come out and try to throw right off the bat and allow blitz aggressive action to go against them, I mean, you know how that changes the tone, Remy.
Oh, it absolutely does. And I mean, coming from, a school that ran a 3-4 defensive system in Culver Stockton College, when they can blitz and just put a nightmare on the quarterback for the day, it's going to ruin his confidence and it's going to ruin his day.
Well, and it did. And I think there was no real confidence in the passing game. There were, 4 interceptions if memory serves. So, I mean, they shattered it from the get start, which is, great chaos theory if you're the Hannibal defense. And then from that point forward, just 8. And those linebackers are so good. And again, story coming tomorrow at Muddy River Sports about, Mr. Hoskins' opus, playing off the Mr. Holland's opus movie from many, many moons back with Richard Dreyfuss. But it really was as good a defensive effort as we've seen from anybody this year. And if you have to battle with the monster that is Carney, you want your defense playing with its sharpest fangs, and I think we saw that with Hannibal. We're not done talking about the Hannibal Pirates. Oh, not by a long shot, Remy.
Oh, we got more Pirates?
Oh, what else do we got to do?
I think it's just Pirates.
No, we got to shuck them up, dude.
Oh, yeah.
It's time to throw up the oink dust. We'll do that when Muddy Night Lights continues.
Since 1985, Hess Auto Agency has been your trusted source for pre-owned vehicles in the tri-state area. Families have experienced the Hess difference for generations and know they'll get the best vehicle buying experience in our region. With an ever-changing inventory, you'll find the right car at the right price. So when you want the best, don't guess. Choose Hess. Hess Auto Agency, 1124 North 24th in Quincy.
Top 5 reasons you should choose
Blessing Raymond College.
Small classes, peer tutoring, and lots of personal attention.
Financial aid opportunities, including grants, scholarship, and loan forgiveness.
Successful outcomes, from pass rates to job placement.
Hands-on learning, clinical experience at multiple sites, and no wait list.
The Simulation Center.
Master clinical skills in this state-of-the-art facility.
Be ready for anything.
What are you waiting for?
Enroll with Blessing Raymond College today.
Kitchen and Bath Gallery of Quincy. Trained craftsmen and expert contractors with friendly professional service. Our design team helps with every step of the process, guiding you from a vision to reality with uncompromised service. Trust your home to the local experts. Get a free quote today. From concept to creation, Kitchen and Bath create remarkable spaces and innovative builds. Kitchen and Bath Gallery, your home reimagined.
Are you as excited as we are that football season is back? Then you need to make Jersey's your one-stop destination for mouth-watering burgers, ice-cold beer, and all your local sporting events. So gather your crew and speed over to one of Jersey's 2 locations, 109 East Jefferson and Camp Point, or 115 East Main Street, Mount Sterling. Jersey's Bar and Grill, your hometown sports bar.
We love beer!
Welcome back to Muddy Night Lights, live from the CDS Office Technology Studios in downtown Quincy.
And welcome back to Muddy Night Lights, obviously powered by our friends at Farm and Home Supply. You know, it feels just a little bit, Remy, sacrilegious, excuse me. I've been talking for 2 straight hours here. Feels a little sacrilegious to do Shuck 'em Up without our namesake and patron saint, doesn't it?
It really does. It's been, this is the first time in Muddy Night Lights, and of course the old show Muddy Night Hoops history, that Shuck does not host. Actually, no, there was one other show where Shuck did not host. And so this is the second time ever where Shuck has not hosted this show.
Please don't tell him, but I miss him.
I think he already knows.
Okay, well, as long as he knows. But in fairness, Shuck did pick out, as he should, our Shuck 'em Up play of the week.
That sounds fair to me.
And it was a really good one, and there's nothing that says shucking them up. I'm trying really hard to control myself here and not stray into FCC territory. There's nothing that says shucking them up like shucking them up right from the very first play of the game. Opening kickoff, Reed Holiday. What a day that young man had. It was a 96-yard kickoff return. I think I had it wrong on the initial package because I think I said 94. No, it was 94. I said 96. So I do apologize on that. He also had a 68-yard touchdown reception for Hannibal's second touchdown of the game. Reed Holiday was a different dude. And it felt a lot like, and I think Jeff Geschwinder even talked about this in my piece, that they tried to kick the ball away from the guy that they thought was the lesser return guy to Reed Holiday, away from Darian Washington, and man, did they pay a price for that. A price not just in an opening touchdown right off the bat before the clock had hit it had gone like 18 seconds of clock time, but they paid it in oink dust as well. Ladies and gentlemen, your Shuck 'em Up play of the week, courtesy of Platt Daddy's Barbecue and courtesy of the oink dust of one Jeremy Platt.
Shuck 'em up!
And with apologies to Lindsey Buckingham, the Dragons found out long ago, it's a long way down Holiday Road. Little European vacation for you, little Chevy Chase for you on the back end of that. So obviously Reed Holiday going to be celebrated in a lot of different ways, as he should, as the tone setter. And you'll hear a lot about Hannibal talking about the importance of tone setting. I think that's a lesson that has been ingrained in this team because of its maturity, how important it is to come out and do something to incite confidence, and they couldn't have done it any better. And give Reed a ton of credit, because I thought, not just with the kickoff return, but you saw him on the pass reception. Actually, it was like, he hit the brakes and the kid just flew by him, and the last 35 yards, there was nobody at his distance on the catch, which to be very fair, Hannibal's offense had kind of stagnated at that point. After they got the opening kickoff, there wasn't a lot on the first possession, which they punted away. Second possession, they were in really long yardage, so it was a rough spot for them. But Hannibal, all of a sudden, it was a flashpoint moment. The next thing you know, Cade Hoskins busts a long touchdown run. They go on a great drive powered by Wyatt Dorsey, who is making all the right quarterback moves. For a guy who came in and stepped into Waylon Anders' shoes, which is probably as hard a spot outside of maybe Braden Little as there was in Tri-State football this year, kid has done an unbelievable job. And in some ways, he's put his own signature on the quarterback position at Hannibal, which is no small affair either. So incredible work on all fronts by Hannibal. Let's hope it translates, Remy, because, we want to end this with a state championship. But much as we talked about from the beginning of the season, whether it was Central/Brown County with Lena Winslow, whether it would have been Monroe City against Blair Oaks, and now Hannibal with Kearney, the road to a state championship was blocked by a kaiju this year, a superpower that's going to be really hard to take out. I am told that Kearney's quarterback, who's also, I believe, a state champion wrestler, is just an absolute monster, and that they are possessed of, if not the best running game in the state of Missouri, one of the top three. But if you're Hannibal and you're really good at stopping the run, it's strength on strength. So you got to like your chances, right, Remy?
Absolutely. The modern day football game is a run game, especially at the high school level. If you can shut down the run game, your night's going to be a lot easier, and that path to the title is going to look a lot closer.
Well, there you have it, my friends. We've shucked them up, and now we're going to take one last break, and when we come back, get you a little update on what the rest of the week's going to look like. We've got an update as well from Matthew Shuckman, who is currently seated at Pepsi Arena with an update from the QU men and women. So we'll bring you all of that in our final block of Monday Night Lights.
Decade after decade, Farm and Home Supply has been the place families turn for jeans that last. For style or for work, our jeans are made for every walk of life. Generation after generation, denim runs in the family at Farm and Home Supply.
We believe that accessing care close to home is better for you and better for your family. For 120 years, Hannibal Regional has been committed to providing community-based, contemporary healthcare, from state-of-the-art surgical care to innovative cancer care, and now life-saving open-heart surgery. We are dedicated to expanding access to exceptional care in each of the communities we serve. Hannibal Regional, why go anywhere else?
So what separates us most from all the other dealerships? It's the Toyota brand itself.
Once they buy a Toyota, they never buy anything else. #1 vehicle on the market, the best sedan on the market, some of the best reliable trucks on the market. And our main goal here is to try and get our customers the best payment possible.
We know the process and we pass that along to you.
We're simply looking to buy vehicles off the street.
And we want all makes and models of vehicles.
And you don't even have to buy anything in return. We'll just simply purchase it from you.
We can purchase a vehicle in 10 or 15 minutes or less.
Meet us at the Scoreboard, 8th in York and Quincy.
The home of Quincy's best cheeseburger is now under new ownership. All our time-tested menu items, along with some great new additions, all cooked on our perfectly seasoned grill, are waiting for you.
New wings and new sauces.
Ice cold buckets at some of the best prices in town.
Or even in a frosted mug.
Corner bar comfort for your favorite game on 7 big screens. Or play your own game and win big.
The Scoreboard, 8th in York and Quincy.
Area Distributors is a provider of products and services in the restaurant environment, the school environment, the factory environment, the office environment, and in healthcare settings.
That's the value of Area Distributors, is that we help our customers out by providing them more product as one distributor.
I can tell you, if you call us and have a need, you're going to get timely response.
It's all about passion.
Welcome back to Monday Night Lights, powered by Farm and Home Supply. Hey, we've got an update from Pepsi Arena, and so far, none of the news has been good on the night. First of all, updating the women's score that I haven't updated for you in 2 hours. Sorry, we got kind of involved, and we're having fun with our conversations. Quincy University women fall to Upper Iowa 91-83. Perimeter defense, the undoing of the Hawks in this one, Remy. 17 triples tonight for Upper Iowa.
Ouch.
That's a really good night shooting the basketball. And the news at half is not good for Brad Hoyt's men at this point either, as they are down by 7. 48-41 is your current score, courtesy of the update from Matt Schuckman. Also on the hill in Canton, Missouri, from the beautiful Joe Charles Fieldhouse. Did I steal that from you?
I think you kind of did.
Well, I'll pay you in lunch afterwards. How's that for a deal?
Sounds wonderful.
Thanks, my friend. Plagiarism is great when you get paid for it.
Hey, it's plagiarism if you do it once. It's research if you do it multiple times.
I like where your head's at. I would have gotten through college a lot better had I taken your advice there. Hannibal LaGrange on the men's side currently leading Culver Stockton 51-35 is your score there. Obviously, Matt Schuckman will have a complete wrap-up. Also, your Alpha Accessories look at the game, breaking it down with post-game action as well of what hopefully turns around for the Hawks in the second half of this game tonight. But again, they're going to try to fight their way out of a 7-point deficit. GLVC openers tonight. Interesting to do it on a Monday. Interesting to do it on a snowy Monday. I hope Schuck is safe on his way back. It sounds like Tuesday night's going to be kind of a bust for us in terms of basketball, with already a lot of cancellations of school tomorrow and games. And as you heard Brian Ray say earlier, we know that Mark Twain Palmyra, which was a game on our radar, which was already off. I assume that Highland, which is usually one of the first schools to cancel as well, Remy, probably is not going to play Louisiana tomorrow night either. which I thought was a pretty interesting girls game. Louisiana is much improved on the girls' side, and outside of maybe Centralia and Q&D, I'm not sure there's a better girls team anywhere in the entirety of the region than the Highland Lady Cougars moving forward. Am I right on that front, my friend?
I mean, Jaco says her team is just so deep this year and everything, and it makes me so excited. The biggest thing has been for them getting out of districts every year.
Yeah.
And so just seeing how this year's going to develop and how they're going to build and grow to try and get out of districts this year is going to be interesting. And then I was also interested to finally get to see the Highland boys. I was not able to make it to their trip out to Kirksville because, I mean, that's a pretty long haul even for me to Kirksville.
Absolutely it is.
To be able to finally see what Matt Thomas is building there with the boys and everything, it just excited me because there's such a good group of kids over there on that boys' side as well. It makes me excited to see what Highland's going to do this year.
They're in really good hands. And again, it will take some time to get the program going, but you've hired a guy who's won everywhere he's been in Matt Thomas, somebody who understands the process, and somebody who, like a lot of the coaches we talked to tonight, is somebody that, I think feels it on more than a level of just wins and losses. So, it's somebody who's trying to build up kids and build up confidence in themselves. So that'll be a super fun sort of renaissance we hope to see at Highland over the next couple of weeks. Really good schedule coming up this week if we get some games in, seeing that we're going to get some makeup. I see on Wednesday night, I think we're making up the lost games from the Spartan Tip-Off Classic up at Bushnell. I got a chance to go up there. Really a weird tournament in that Illini West, who I think is going to be an excellent basketball team this season, and now has Ethan Carlisle back after the big football injury, lost to an A-Town team that had its best player suspended. And then Macomb, when that player returned, Macomb, who's a team that I've been super high on and banging the drum for because pretty good returning nucleus with the guys they have, potential player of the year candidate in Drew Watson as your guard, some great size with Nolan Hogue there to help things out, and two really good transfers, ends up losing to A-Town as well. So looks like A-Town, provided they take care of business on their rescheduled part of it on Wednesday, will win that. But we do have an Illini West Macomb matchup on Wednesday night that I think is a lot more interesting than people get credit for. And then Q&D will turn around and go to Macomb on Saturday night. And I think there's some real philosophic argument that Q&D could end up being the best boys team in our area this year. Now, there are people who will dispute that in Brown County, as they probably should once Brown County gets its legs underneath them. West Hancock, we saw West Hancock this week. I talked about it earlier, with Greg Altmix getting a chance to go up to the Kevin Brown Memorial, which is just a fabulous event if you're ever in Washington, Missouri, and you love basketball. It's done a little bit like the Quincy Shootout. Now, it doesn't have the level of talent no tournament does the Quincy Shootout has, but there's a separate division where they bring in some big-time teams from across the country. There's another division where it's more local. They play a girls' game. They honor a lot of people from the community. They have a Hall of Fame. They have an autograph banquet table. Really cool thing. And, I went over, obviously, to go watch Route play because I wanted to see what the Rockets would look like in this Bryson Mossman senior year. And what did he drop? He dropped 42 points that night. The kid's just insane. Lefty shooter. The team they played, which was, I'm trying to remember who they played going into that game, but a team from somewhere in Missouri with a 7-footer that I can't remember the name of, Janesville or something like that. They played the zone, wouldn't come out of it, and Bryson Mossman stood at the top of the key and drained 10 threes himself that night. So got to see them, but I also got to see West Hancock, who, is a team that came in much touted. They didn't particularly play well against Washington, but got better as the week went on up there, playing elite-level competition, including Rafer Alston's son at one point, and Cooper Knowles went nuts. Have flirted with a triple-double, I believe, up there as well. And after a kind of a wonky first night where the offense didn't connect, he was super. So we've got that working. I know we've got, we're going to get a chance to see the Q&D girls this week if the weather holds out. So I haven't had a chance to do that personally yet. I'm excited to see that group. As I mentioned, we've got College Signing Day on Wednesday for Division I football players. I think we'll have 4 of those from the area. If memory serves at this point, 2 at Hannibal. We've got Gavin Dolman, we've got Todd Smith here in town. So I think that's the big 4 for us. When you count, obviously, Trey Hoskins, and then Nicholas Thomas from Hannibal, who's the giant offensive tackle, who's pledged at this point to Eastern Illinois University. The only one we don't know a destination on yet is Trey Hoskins, and we'll get that announcement kind of, I hope, with a hat ceremony, Remy, on coming up on Wednesday as well. That's always fun, right?
I love a good hat ceremony, especially when they pick the college that they least expected to pick. It's always fun whenever they pull a little surprise for you.
Our guy Aeneas Williams did it with a dog ceremony. He pulled out his dog dressed in Irish clothing when he did it. So that's going to be hard to top. But, Trey Hoskins, I believe, was there. So maybe he's got something up his sleeve for Wednesday morning as well.
I hope this doesn't turn into like the gender reveal parties and stuff. Those got out of hand.
I hope it's not a dog and pony show.
Oh, boy.
Oh, God. Yeah, I've been talking for 2 hours straight. I'm looped up on too much caffeine. It's time for me to go, people. But it has been fun to do this tonight. Again, I'm going to get my tag team partner back next week so you don't have to listen to me yammer on for 2 hours. But what great guests. I mean, you go back through it, and I'm sorry we lost David Phelps because he's one of the really good dudes in this business, but had a chance to talk to Greg Altmix, to Brian Ray tonight, to Dan Sparrow, to Adam Rung. I mean, people who've done a great job, and I think all those teams have a really good chance to be really good this season. So we are set up nicely for a great winter. Just want to warn you all that once the football season finally ends, the Muddy River sports team will transition into awards week. We've got softball to talk about. We've got volleyball to talk about. Well, players of the year in both those categories, as well as all of the football fun and frivolity, all coming your way very, very soon. Again, I thank you for putting up with me tonight. It was fun. I didn't know that I could talk for 2 hours straight, but my wife could probably tell you otherwise. You failed me for the last time, Starscream. But here we are. Hey, we'll see you right back here next Monday night for more Monday Night Lights with Matt Shuckman in tow. Should be an awful lot of fun. And thanks, as always, for your interest and your patronage in this project.